My name is Mason, and this is your March 2026 Tucson real estate market update. Bear down, go Cats. I'm a real estate agent here in Tucson. I serve the greater Tucson, Vail, and Pima County area, and I want to start by saying it is March 20th. March Madness has begun. U of A, we all know their reputation, and it's only game one, so I don't want to get ahead of myself. Their next game is Sunday, but they won decidedly over their first opponent. We will see their next game on Sunday, but had to wear the U of A. Bear down, let's get into it. So if you're new to these videos, I always break them up into two parts. Number one, I'm gonna give you what I'm seeing and I'm very fortunate to have a lot of buyers and a lot of sellers right now. I have homes and negotiations or clients looking anywhere from a $200,000 maybe manufactured home in as far as Picture Rock, Sierra Valley, maybe even Benson. Had a family that reached out, they want to go to Sierra Vista. And I have homes that are at the higher end in Dove Mountain, Marana, Tanque, Verde, here in Vail. So I see a lot. I'm in the weeds, and I really like to say that I have my finger on the pulse of Tucson real estate. Now, again, this is my own personal account. I'm not saying I know everything or know, I'm an expert in all of Tucson real estate. Of course, everyone's situation is different, but I have a good idea of what the market is like, what buyers are saying, what sellers are saying. So with that, I'm going to give you what I know and what February looked like and where we're at now in March. Keep in mind that real estate numbers are always 1 month behind. So we're looking at the data that we are now seeing from February. Everything's closed and finished. So what I'm giving you is just a month behind, and then next month I'll give you how March performed. And for the second half of the video, I get into the numbers and the data, and I pull out my spreadsheet and I give you the average price, the median price, all the dry stuff. I personally love it, but let me start by giving you what I'm seeing out in the market currently. I've said it once, I'll say it again. There's a lot of average inventory in the market right now, a lot of stale inventory. There are homes that I've shown that are pretty good homes, and they're at 100, 200 plus days on market. They look good, they smell good, they present well, they're clean, they're well kept. When you have a home like that, it simply comes down to price, 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 price. And I'll get into this number later, but we are seeing a significant amount of homes that are reducing their price. So right now, with the inventory we have, this is not for February, and I'm getting a little ahead of myself, 44% of all homes currently listed in Tucson have had price reductions. I would call that half or just shy of half. When you have that many homes reducing their prices, it means that they're either coming out the gate too hot with too high of a price, they've misjudged it, whether it's the seller and the agent decide on that, or the homeowner is ultimately the one who decides the set amount to list their home. But it just leads me to believe that people are still a bit too ambitious. When half of the inventory, 44% of the inventory, is seeing price reductions, as a buyer, I'm going to eat that up. I'm going to be aggressive. But there is a twist to that, and where I think buyers can make out huge when it comes to their offers. I want to clarify what an average home is, and I've said this in previous videos. An average home to me is, whether it was built in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, so on and so forth, is when a home, it might present well, but you walk in and let's say it's a 1995 built home, it feels every bit of 1995. Maybe they've done a few things, maybe they've updated their water heater, but when you walk in, I look at the windows, and the windows have condensation in them. The seals are broken. The ACs are rusted over, and they're pretty darn loud. And you look at the data tag on the AC units, the heating and air units, and it's from 1995. And those are big ticket, expensive items. And ultimately what happens is the seller going to foot the bill and eat that to replace a $10,000 AC unit? Or are they going to get lucky and try to pass it on or negotiate that bill, that expense, that equipment failure to the next homeowner? And a Band-Aid move, that might not be the best way to describe it, might be just simply pay for a home warranty and say, hey, I'll give you a 2-year, $1,400 home warranty, and if your AC craps out, then at least you're covered. But if it doesn't, that's on you, new homeowner. And I will add that average homes aren't specific to one price point. And that's not a slight, that's not talking down about the inventory, but you walk in and, it's 2026 and you see everything aesthetically and mechanically is still from the original date of build. Buyers want more, buyers want value. Buyers don't want to walk into a home and see, oh man, we got to replace this. how many more days, weeks, or years or months until that AC unit goes out? What's the plumbing like? The eaves on the roof are falling apart or rotted away. The tiles are cracked. The underlayment on this 30-year roof needs to be completely replaced. That's a $20,000 expense the day you walk in. So if you are a seller right now, and I don't want to get too much in the weeds as to what sellers or buyers can do to the home, but if you're a seller, if you want to set yourself apart from what's available right now, take time to look at the items that are at the end of their life expectancy. Your windows, the paint, the wood, the water heater, the AC units, the furnace, the blower, swamp coolers, whatever it is. Take an inventory of your house, things you pass by and don't consider or look at every day, and say, you know what, probably should replace that, right? It'll really present well, because I'm telling you, I'm a very aggressive and in-depth buyer's agent as well as a seller's agent. And before my clients put pen to paper, I am looking at those items. In this market, if you are a buyer, you need to protect yourself. You need to look at these items. You need to come up with a strategy before you commit to a home, before you put pen to paper. You need to understand, what is the market right now? What can I take advantage of? What leverage do I have? How long has the home been on the market? When did they buy the home? How much potential equity do they have? And I don't say the equity part to try to gouge someone, but it does lend itself as leverage to negotiations. If I know someone has $500,000 in equity, yeah, they can probably afford to eat a $1,200 water heater. In an extreme case, maybe a $15,000 AC unit or a pool replastering. All that to say, I get very excited because that's the stuff I look at. That's the stuff that I'm looking at to help protect you as the consumer. So when you're looking at homes, just know there's a lot of homes, objectively good homes, I might add, that are just sitting right now. So be aggressive, be very thorough. That's the word I was looking for. Be very thorough when it comes to looking for homes. But here's the twist. If you, as a seller, have a polished, updated, and I'm not saying you dumped $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 into your home. I'm not saying you made it the Taj Mahal. I'm just saying maybe you do have new countertops. Maybe you do have updated cabinets. Maybe you've redone your tile. Maybe you've gotten rid of your plaster pull and done Pebble Tech, or you've added some sort of upgrades to your home, and you're in a neighborhood or a community where you are the one that stands out above the rest. You are going to perform well. Now, with that comes competition. If you think that you're going to be the first one in line to catch the gem of a home in a neighborhood of average, you're wrong. There are a million other families looking at all the websites, keeping an eye on things that pop up in their specific neighborhoods of interest, and they go there like sharks to blood in the water. It is so shocking that when a good home pops up and I call and I say, hey, Sally Joe, any offers on the home, any activity, we're going to go show it on Sunday. And they say, yep, we got 2 offers in hand. Or the other piece is maybe there is a good home that's been on the market for a little bit. It's been priced a little too high, and they drop it. And it finally hits the sweet spot. Again, it's like sharks to blood. These buyers are vigilant. They're keeping an eye out there. So if a good home pops up, and my clients have had to suffer through some of this as of late, you need to make sure all your ducks in a row as a buyer. You need to make sure that you are prepared to get there immediately, take a look at it. And that's not to say you have to decide immediately, but at least you've already seen it. You've already done the footwork. You've already done, the homework on it, and you can sleep on it for a night and say, you know what, let's go ahead and put an offer on it, or not for us, we're going to wait for the next one. Now, on the seller side, price is more important than ever, and that's always the number one important thing, right? So I don't want to ignore that, and I'll get into the data here shortly. As of today, and this is not for February, this is all of 2026 with the current listings we have, and this is very important. 44% of every listing in Tucson, almost half, has had a price reduction. And I'm not talking a couple $100. I'm talking some significant price reductions. Now, this is my best educated guess, my opinion from what I'm seeing and what I can pull from the data, is that a lot of sellers might be exiting the gate, putting their home on the market a bit too aggressively. We're in a very stable, slow, steady as she goes market. We are seeing growth. We are seeing home, whether it's the median or the average, we are seeing improvement. But the other end of that houses are moving slower. Houses are not selling as quickly. We all know that if a house is at 100, 200 days on market, yeah, a good buyer's agent is going to come in with an offer that's going to really be advantageous for their buyers. Sellers, you don't want to be on the other end of that. I will tell you, I start salivating. I get excited when my client says, Mason, we love the home. I look at the days on market. It's at 100 days, 200 days, 286 days, like one I saw the other day. It's listed at $750,000. Yeah, you can bet that my clients as the buyers are going to get a sweet deal, because we're not going to say, oh, it's a great home, it's been on 200 days, we'll take it at full price and not take any concessions. So sellers, avoid the pitfall of going stale. Avoid the pitfall of a bullseye being on your back because you decided to list very aggressively. Even just a little bit over might make your listing sit and become stale. With all that, I'm not trying to paint a doom and gloom picture. What I'm trying to give you is insight into the market. So if you're a buyer, trust me, there is good news. There's a lot to take advantage of. If you are a seller, take a little bit of time to polish your home. And I'm looking at my home right now, thinking of, am I a victim to any of this? I digress, but take time to polish your home. Take time to make some sensible upgrades. Remember, cost does not equal value. Do not remodel one bathroom that looks like 2026, whereas the rest of your house feels like 1996. So consult with your agent, ask for advice, even consult with interior designers. Whatever resource you have as a seller, take full advantage of it before you exit that gate and enter into the market. Lastly, this is my opinion before I get into the data. I'm still happy and excited to see where Tucson is heading. You can split Tucson real estate into two seasons. You have the spring and early summer season, and then the rest of the year. So from March to July, and this is not my opinion, this is the data that I've seen. And I go back 20 plus years to look at these data sets and these graphs. Every year like clockwork, from March until July, Tucson sees a big uptick in market activity. The rest of the year, when it's extremely hot, painfully hot, as we all know here, and into the winter, Tucson slows down tremendously. So if you are a seller, the spring and early summer market is more advantageous for you. And I will tell you, we are seeing that right now. Today is March 20th, March Madness. It is 99 degrees here in Tucson, and people are out shopping. Is it sunny? Is it beautiful? Absolutely. And people are leaving their houses, making plans to go hit the open houses, and they're getting out there to shop. So we are entering into the busy market. The data shows just that, but that doesn't mean homes are flying off the shelf. It just means things are getting a little bit busier. You're going to be bumping shoulders with some shoppers, but it's not like it was a few years ago, because some people still have that feeling that their home's going to fly off the shelf. And truth be told, it's just not what's happening. All right, first, number nerds, let's get right into it. In February, keep in mind that for real estate, we're always looking at data from a month behind, trailing data. And so it's March 2026. We're looking at the February numbers. Next month, I will look at how March performed, which is usually the marker for the busy season. But let's take a look at February. In February, there were a total of 567 total sales from the same time last year, February 2025. This is up 1%. Your median sales price for a single family home, and again, I want to clarify, this is for only single family homes, not townhomes, not manufactured homes, not raw land. This is only for single family homes in the Tucson footprint. So if your zip code starts with 857, this applies to you. The median sales price was up 2.7%, and that came in at $385,000. Your average home sales price was $487,000. That is up 0.3% from the same time last year till this year. Your average days on market did increase, so the market got slower for February. It came in at 58 average days on market. That is 8 days slower from the same time last year. Your median days on market also saw an increase, or a negative increase, to 36 days on market. So the median is just a hair over a month. And again, that is slower than the same time last year. Your average price per square foot came in at $239. This is up 0.1% from last year. The next piece is the percent of list price received. So sellers, this pertains to you. If you list your home for $500,000 and you get 100% of your list price, that means you got $500,000. If you got $495,000 offer and you close at that price, that means you got 95% of your list, 99% of your list price. The percent of list price received for sellers was negative 1.59%. So that means sellers are getting essentially what they want for their house, what they list at. It's coming in, there's a little bit of negotiation, of course, because it is a slower market, but they're getting just under what they're listing their house for. And this is 0.02 less than the same time last year. Currently, we're at 3.9 months of supply. This means that if today all homes were no longer listed on the market, it would take us about 4 months to see all the inventory be sold and done. At this low of supply, it usually lends itself to a seller's market, but we are not seeing that. I will tell you, we are very much still in a buyer's market, with the exception of maybe the luxury price points and with the exception of the really well-polished, updated homes that are popping up. A lot of competition for those gems. This next one is a big one. Of all homes listed on the market, 44% have seen price reductions, and those price reductions are usually around 6.5%. That is a significant hit to your bottom line and what a seller is going to walk away with. Me, as both an aggressive and thorough buyers and sellers agent, I'm seeing that, and there's no way in heck my buyers are going to walk away with not taking advantage of price reductions or sellers and their stale inventory. This last data set or line item is another piece that adds more validity to what I had just said. This is the list to closed price. This is the median number. So what you list for versus what you closed at, whether it's, you list at 500,000, maybe you get 520 or maybe you get 480. But the list to close price has a difference of 7.1%. I would hate for my sellers to lose anywhere from 5 to 7%. I'd hate for my sellers to lose a penny. I always tell families I work with, I'm going to save, whether I can save you a penny, 1 cent or $100,000, I'm going to save you what I can. To see sellers losing, the median being 7%, that's a huge hit that can probably be avoided in most cases when you have a proper strategy. But, who am I to guess as to what happened? I'm just reading you what the numbers say. Last but not least are the rankings and how zip codes performed. And the first category is the most amount of sales for the month of February. Coming in at first place was 85747 on the east side at 37 total sales. Second place was 85750 up in the Foothills. That came in at 34 total sales. And third place was its neighbor, 85718, at 31 total sales. The highest median price point, or the most expensive zip code in town, is 85718 at a median price of $857,000. Its neighbor to the east is 85750 at $675,000. And its neighbor to the east, again in the Tanque Verde Northeast corridor, is going to be 85749 at $649,000. The lowest median price point zip codes, or the what I would call the most affordable entry-level zip codes, are going to be 85713 at first place, coming in at $254,000, 85705 at $255,000, and coming in at third, 85746 at $280,000. These zip codes that saw the quickest days on market or the quickest homes sold, first place was 85737 at 5 days on market. Those are interesting because if there's only 1 or 2 homes that sold, then these numbers could potentially be either very high or very low. Second place is 85716, beautiful zip code. It actually tied with a third place. 85716 and 85710 were both at 11 days on market. With the last category, the slowest neighborhoods or the slowest days on market, 85706 on the south at 76 total days. I'm going to guess they have a lot of inventory, so there's a lot of options. I know there's a lot of new builds as well in that area. Second place was 85739 at 71 total days on market. And 85757 in the far southwest is third place at 63 days on market. One of the last things I want to add, and I'll wrap up here. I know I get into a lot here, but I really enjoy doing this and looking at how the market's performing. My guess is that after a very quiet, a very sleepy 2025, 2024, and 2023, there's a lot of built up buyer and seller demand. People have been pent up in their homes, waiting for prices to drop, waiting for the market crash that your Uncle Johnny told you about that has yet to be seen. I think there's a lot of pent up demand on both sides, right? I'm excited to see where Tucson goes. I have not seen a depression in our market specifically. In Southern Arizona as a whole, Tucson and the greater Pima County, Southern Arizona territory has seen steady and even growth. So I like where we're headed. I'm excited to see where things go. I'm seeing a lot of nice, different, unique inventory at the luxury and ultra luxury price points. Can't wait to explore that more, but ultimately, Tucson is doing well. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Mason in Tucson, and I'll see you in the next video.